so offensive.
Somebody took one of my water. I ain't gonna say nothing about it, but I know I had 2 waters up here, and almost I got 1. I didn't know I could probably do what I'm supposed to do if I ain't got.
I'll wait for Zahara to come up here to
replenish.
Yeah.
Young ZR.
That's because we don't eat pork.
Light skin.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but I was like,
Can I have 1 more water, please?
They just copy.
I appreciate you, son.
Muslims got that from this book.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I tell them too. Black person, like, you Muslim? I was like, no, man.
Yeah, I be getting that.
No, come on.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm not ashamed, bro. It's delicious.
I ought to be ashamed of yourself. Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if we do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that we do not believe. In this state, we should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that we do get, whether it be a gift or any super experience that we might have, it can and it be used against us in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, to the saints watching on camera, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent. For what reason? That they might live.
That's right.
You back there texting. You know what I'm talking about? You know that word about to get free. Look what he about to do.
I was talking to my wife. Matter of fact, let me tell you a story.
That might be Jesus.
Can't buy good help. Goodness gracious. All right, where we starting today? Nicole? This is the tradition. You choose where we start.
Just pick a random book and a random number.
Somebody in the New Testament though.
Do you know the books of the Bible?
Yeah, she knows the books of the Bible.
Anything. You said Esther earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, but you can't choose that.
No, that's what I'm choosing.
No, you can't choose. You can't choose Esther. It has to be
You
like.
can't tell her to choose and then tell her she can't choose that.
What's going on here? I don't understand what's going on here. I'm not sure. I don't
She has a point.
That's very rude.
This guy hates kids.
Something in the New Testament, please.
Do you want to grab that Bible right there?
Somebody choose a New Testament book.
Hebrew.
Hebrew.
I shouldn't know.
My whole phone at you, bro.
Hebrews is good.
Hebrews. Give me a number there. Can I have a number at least 1 through 12?
Yeah.
1 through 12? All right. Hebrews chapter 12. Give me a number, TJ. 1 through what I'm thinking about. What 1 through 30 something? 34? What do you think, Daniel?
15.
15? This is Hebrews chapter 12 verse 15. Watch what the book say. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 15. You know, you always want to get started. You never want to you just get started to kind of see where the day take you. That's all. You just want to start somewhere random.
Off the top. I said, Joe.
What happened?
I said I think this beanie is changed because it's sliding up.
Ain't quite doing it, huh?
Thanks, bro. It's
You
pretty
got
Alright.
that Will Waldo thing. 12 what?
This is Hebrews chapter 12 verse 15. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 15.
Looking diligently lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
Right? When you say looking diligently, what is it talking about?
Paying attention.
Paying attention to what though?
Looking.
Looking for.
You know, what diligently mean? Like precise,
Yeah, intent, right? You're doing it intentionally, you're doing something specific, right? So you're looking diligently, but what are we looking for diligently?
the Messiah.
Okay. Keep going, watch this.
Lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Mm-hmm. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person.
Any fornicator, profane person, as who?
Esau, who for a morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Right. Remember, we reading the Bible in a year. So right now we in Exodus, right? Mm-hmm. But we just got out of Genesis, right? When Esau, you remember Esau was so hungry, he sold his birthright. But what was the important piece when he sold his birthright? Birthright. No offense.
Birthright.
What happened when Esau sold his birthright?
He was dying. He was starving. He was like, you know.
No, but what did he say? Come
was
on, don't make me go
he was
grab
like- he
it.
was
I'm
like-
trying to get somewhere
It
tonight.
was a birthright to me.
He said, what is the birthright to me? He had no value in it. Right? So go back to when it say looking diligent. Wait, we started at 15?
Yeah.
Give me 14.
Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord.
Nobody gonna see the Lord. That's the book, right? He said, follow peace with all men. Right? That's why when we live in our lives in here, no matter what, it's all about keeping the peace, right? Just keep peace. Everybody relax. Everybody be good. Don't be mad at each other. Keep the peace. Right? Because that's our good job. Otherwise, the book say, nobody sees them. Then what does it say next after that? Looking what?
Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord.
Okay.
Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
Mm-hmm.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person, as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
So our birthright, right? So let's go back to the beginning, right? You have Genesis. You have what's Esau's daddy name? Isaac, right? And so Isaac have twins. One of those twins are supposed to get the birthright. Traditionally, who gets it? Oldest, right? Birthright is like what? What can we compare that to? The way we kind of look at things. What would be like a
Leaving your
birthright?
son, your house.
Like an inheritance, right? So it's like, okay, when I die, my oldest son, right? All my kids gonna get something, but my oldest boy, right? He might get the largest portion of what I give, right? Because he's the most responsible. I spent the most time with him, and honestly, I like him the most, right? So it's like that one, he's gonna get the lion's share of what I have to leave behind, right? So that's kind of what the birthright is. The difference between the way we would kind of look at an inheritance and the birthright here is this birthright is connected to what? What's special about this birthright that Esau was supposedly going to get?
He would have had the promise of Most High God.
Right? It's a promise because God made a promise to who?
Well, to Abraham.
Abraham first, right? And he said, in your seed, what will happen?
Shall be called. In your seed shall. Your seed. What do you call it? In your seed, you shall be called, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you be called.
He said the promise is in your seed,
Yeah.
right?
He gave him the land of Canaan, and
So when Abraham have a kid, he looking like, oh, I know who my seed is, and I know which one got the promise, which was Isaac. So then God came to Isaac after Abraham died.
and tell her I said be quiet.
Right? He came to Isaac after Abraham died. Then he told Isaac, he said, Isaac, listen, I got you too. In your seed, I'm going to take care of your seed. So now Isaac is looking like, okay, when I have a kid, he got to live on. Traditionally, it's going to be the older kid that get the birthright. Right? So the kids have that understanding also. Right? The kids know this birthright is connected to a promise from God. So now that changes kind of how we look at it. Right? Because now, when the book reads that Esau said, what is this birthright to me? What is he really saying with the knowledge that this birthright has a promise connected to it? And not just a promise, it's a promise from God. What is he really saying? This promise means nothing to me. I want to eat. I feel like I'm dying. This promise means nothing to me. Right? That's why in this simple act, it's simple acts that we go out throughout our lives, right? Simple things that we do throughout our lives. And they're more meaningful to us than what we realize, right? It's like little things that we do, and it's more meaningful because really what we're declaring is that, what God promised me is really not all that important. Right? I prefer to do this. Eat shrimp. Right? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out as an example. That was just an example. I'm not even being literal. I'm just saying that was an example.
Okay, bro. I'm
Goodness
anyway.
gracious. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Good.
What's the
Shrimp? It's like a darn little roach.
I'm not okay. Crab legs,
Ugh.
scallops. It's delicious.
All right. That's it. Excuse me. We do not. The views of this station does not.
What comes out of the man defiles him.
Gracious. All that need to come out.
What I want.
Yeah, I'm saying all that thing need to come out.
Well, I'm gonna eat it.
You just gotta, what's the word, effecate?
What?
Is that what it is?
Efficient?
No.
That's not it? Effecate? You not effecate? What effecate mean? Somebody look that up, effecate. It's a word.
That's not
Why you always trying to make me feel like I'm not smart?
Views on this program does not necessarily.
Effecate. Somebody, everybody got Google in. Somebody
The watchers
effecate.
in the
No, they
listeners.
keep trying to say defecate.
Is it defecate?
Defecate is.
Okay, defecate. That's what I was looking at. I didn't miss the darn D.
He don't know it.
What?
What effecate mean? Effecate is a word.
No, it's not.
Defecate is like, is that bad?
Go on
Like, so
yourself.
you know how I eat,
All right, hold on. Let's stop studying and erase this. Let's start all over.
I eat shrimp from my mom's?
Because you
Is
defiled.
that bad?
It's delicious.
Yes, it's bad.
No.
All right, moving on. So, anyways. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Goodness gracious. So, at the end of it, we make choices, right? And we put God over our lives, or put God over our behaviors, or over our decisions, or we put our decisions over God. There are many decisions that we can make that doesn't require us to put those decisions over God. But anything that God said don't do, right, by doing something, you're putting that over. So that's why the writer of Hebrews is relating this part of the story. He's saying, listen, you got to seek peace with all men, right? With all men seek peace. Because without doing that, it ain't no way you're going to see God, right? Then after that, he's saying, look diligently, right? Pay attention. Look for these things. Pay attention to all your opportunities. Because otherwise, you might have a bad root that come up, right? And this one bad root might be one bad decision. And that one bad decision spread out and it infects a lot of people. Watch, keep reading from there.
For you know that how afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected.
Go back up. I want to go to the bad root. Wormwood. What is that?
Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and therefore many be defiled. Thereby many be defiled.
Defiled means what?
Unclean.
Unclean, right? And thereby anybody made unclean, or in other words, unworthy of the Most High, right? Keep going.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for a morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Right? Keep going.
For you know how that after.
So we know what that birthright is bigger than just sold his birthright. The reason why he's relating that, because he's selling a promise to God, right? A promise from God. He said, his words were, what is that to me? Right? And through our actions, we're saying the same thing a lot of times, right? We're like, oh, well, what is that to me? I don't mean nothing to me. Right? And that's what he did. In his mind, he wasn't saying, what is this birthright to me? Because what is God to me? Right? Or what is God's promise to me? It's not like he was consciously thinking that. In his mind, he's looking like, I'm hungry at this moment. Why am I worrying about what's going to happen in the future? So that's why the people say YOLO. Right? I want to live in this moment. What? I want to live in this moment. What am I going to worry about the future for? Same idea. Why? Watch it. Keep going.
For you know that how afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected.
That's right.
For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. For you are not come unto the mount that might be touched, as that burned with fire, nor unto blackness and darkness and tempest. And the sound of a trumpet and the voice of words, which voice they that heard entreated that the words should not be spoken to them anymore.
What is it talking about right here? We just got done reading this. Anybody who reading along with us in the Bible?
When he was talking to, right now we were talking, this Exodus right here, right? So this is when they was talking on the mountain, was it? Yeah, I think he was talking to him, and then the ground and stuff was shaking, and thunder was happening.
How do people feel about it?
So I was gonna die.
They thought they were going to die, didn't they?
Yeah, but
Right? He's telling us we're not approaching that type of situation. Right? Watch this.
for they could not endure that which was commanded, and if so much as a beast touch the mountain, it shall be stoned or thrust through with a dart.
That was the rules, right? Remember when he first set it up, what Moses said? He set up the belt with the border. What did he say?
Don't come near.
He said, you come near it, you kill him. Anybody who come up this, you kill him. Right? He trying to tell us, he like, this is not the situation y'all going through. He trying to, we ain't got no excuse. Y'all ain't got to deal with that. They said at that mountain, they looking up at the mountain, and then ain't nobody Nobody experienced no mess like this before. Most High God starts speaking from the mountain. You just hear this big old voice. Everybody in there scared, shaking their darn boots. After he got past the 10, you know why it's 10 commandments? So, why the 10 commandments, Dan?
Because
Why the 10 commandments, Shanice? You always answering the question. Shanice used to be my superstar. Back in the day, let me tell you something. Back in the day, Shanice, I couldn't ask a question without Shanice. I got it. You used to hit nail them things too. Go ahead, let me see. All that
That's what she
shrimp.
used to love.
Shrimp.
That thing ruin you, ruin the
Oh
brand. That's
my
all it do.
gosh.
What it do? So why it's only 10 commandments?
That's 10 were spoken and then the rest Moses heard?
That's right. Why were only 10 spoken?
Because they told, go talk to him yourself because we're too scared to hear you.
Goodness, great. You get to hearing that darn voice jumping, thundering, and flames coming out the top of the mountain. Ain't that what it said? Flames and lightning and all that type of stuff. And you get to the 10th one, it's just like, look, Moses, you go. The whole time, who been talking to God?
Moses.
Whole time, ain't nobody heard nothing from God. Moses was hearing from God. Moses would tell who?
Aaron.
And then Aaron would tell who? So we were fine with that, right? We was in the wilderness, we were looking at it, we were like, all right, Aaron, we'll do that. Moses told you to do that? Oh, we know Moses here from God. Don't worry about it, we'll do it. All of a sudden, Moses want to get fancy on us, right? All right, let me lift these boards up. Don't you cross this board. You stone their butt. Even if your animal touches stone his butt, kill him. He's like, goodness, great, why everything gets so tight around here all of a sudden? Right, because we just came out of Egypt at the time. Crossing the Red Sea, we saw some amazing stuff. Then all of a sudden, it's like everybody getting stoned and stuff. We're like, goodness, great, what's gotten into Moses? He cool this whole time. What you got?
So isn't this where God would lead them? It was like cloud by day and fire by night.
That's right, right? God had to lead it because we was in the wilderness, right? It's not like now we got street lights, all types of stuff. You go outside, no, it's just pitch black at night. So the Most High God put a fire in the sky, and so we would follow wherever the fire go, we would go. Remember, it's a big group of people, like 1 million of us, whole bunch of Hebrew, just black folk, just running around the darn desert, right? Just running around. You know what I'm saying? They say we had shoes though. You know what I'm saying? Book say we had shoes, kept the same shoes the whole time. The book said, right? Just walking around. You know what I'm saying? And there's a couple of Egyptians with it. We just running around, and then we got this fire, and we follow it. And then in the daytime, a cloud, and wherever the cloud go, we follow the cloud. And that's what kind of, that was our compass to get us where we need to go. Keep us out of trouble, get us in the right area. If you look at the route we took, you know what I'm saying, it kept us from getting into wars, all these other nations around, you know what I'm saying, so he took us away and tried to protect us. What was I talking about before you asked that question?
If they cross the line.
Yeah.
Why get
Moses
all
got there.
Oh, yeah, we look like Moses. Why Moses get all, you know what I'm saying? Why Moses tripping now? Okay, so all of a sudden we go to the top. Moses tell us we about to hear from God. That sounds exciting at first. Somebody tell you right now you about to hear from God. That sounds exciting, right? So then you go with it. All right, I'm about to hear from God. Most High God starts speaking from the mountain. All of a sudden everything starts thundering and lightning and shaking, and you feel like everybody about to die. I'll let them get past the first commandment. First commandment, cool. Second commandment, whoo, I heard that, Lord. Right? Third commandment was like, all right. Fourth commandment was like, okay. Right? By the time you get to the 10th, it's just like, no, please. No more. Right? So they told him to stop. That's why it stopped at 10. Then after that, he said, the people told him, they said, look, Moses, let's take it back out. We've been doing this the whole time. Ain't nothing need to change. You go talk to God. And then you tell us what he said. So that was a very traumatizing, scary experience for our people. We were looking at it like, what are we supposed to do? Right? So from that point on, Moses gave us the rest of the commandments, right? That's why I stopped at 10. So when people say 10 commandments and try to make it seem like it's like a way different type of thing, that's the story. It's not like it's 10 commandments and that's it. It's 10 commandments that we allow God to, well, I don't want to say allow, but we ask God, that we ask him to stop after the 10th, right?
Yeah.
We ask God to just
That's
leave it
right.
alone,
Go downstairs.
right?
Go play.
Finally,
super
another
funny.
girl. And there's nothing but really boys.
Right? So we look at it, go to, all right, keep going, watch this.
But you are come unto a Mount Zion and unto the city of the living God,
Mm-hmm.
the heavenly Jerusalem. Wait, sorry. Hold on. And so terrible was the sight that Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake.
Uh-huh.
But you are coming to the Mount Zion and unto
So now
the
he's
city
putting
of
the
the living
difference,
God.
right? He's saying that's not what you're dealing with. What you are dealing with You coming to the Mount of God, right? The Mount Zion, right? Where's Mount Zion?
Ain't that in the city of David?
Yeah, that's Jerusalem, right? That's where. You remember the book in Revelation? What's supposed to be coming down?
New Jerusalem.
New Jerusalem is coming down. So that's Mount Zion. That's what he's talking about. So he's saying in the future, right? When you look forward, what you're looking diligently towards is when New Jerusalem come down. You're coming to that mountain. It's a different experience, is what he's saying. Right? Keep going.
The heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels,
Mm-hmm.
to the general assembly and congregation of the firstborn,
Mm-hmm.
which are written in heaven, and to God the judge of all, and to
Mhm.
the spirits of just men made perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and to Yahushua the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaks better things than that of Abel.
When he when he read Jesus in the book, he's talking about instead of saying Jesus, he's saying Yahushua. So Yahushua is his actual name, right? Jesus comes from, what does Jesus come from? In Greek,
Yeah.
Greek, Latin, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Right, translated from Greek, Latin into English. All right, how we know his name can't be really Jesus though.
So there's no letter J in
The sound, right? The sound of a letter J, the sound that we know of J. When was that created? Like,
600s, something like that?
yeah, probably about 1600s, right? So that's where the sound, after the 1600s, that's where the sound of the letter J was developed, right? Before that, what sound did it make?
And then you got sound.
Yeah, something like a Y, right? So you had something like a Y. Like if you go read some in Old English right now, you might see the I's, right? You'll just have an I. You won't even have a J. You'll just have an I, right? So you might, like a word, like even Jesus, right? The word Jesus, if you look at the old writing of it, like the very original writing of it, it'll be spelled I. How do you spell Jesus? I-E-S-U-S. Right? And so you look at it and be like, what in the world is that? Because that's the I, it was no J, right? And so the J, it used to be a variation of the Y that would kind of make a yes sound. And so that his name was actually pronounced when translated from Greek, Latin to English as Jesus, kind of like the rapper, right? So it's Jesus. Before that, if you say it in Latin or Greek, it's what? Who remembers?
Jesus.
It's like Jesus, right? Kind of like Jesus, right, in Spanish. Because Spanish also comes from Latin language, right? Then you get Jesus from what?
Greek.
Hebrew, right? So Hebrew, his name was Yahushua.
Yeah, that's right.
The Greek language, like the rules of the Greek language, wouldn't allow for you to write that though, Yahushua. Like it goes against their rules. You could try to make those sounds, but the language itself doesn't allow for those sounds to be put together that way. So when you write it, it can't be written the way it's verbalized. So the closest that they can write it is Jesus, right? But it actually is Yahushua. So if you translate Yahushua into English, right? Right now we're translating Yahushua to Greek to Latin, then to English. And it comes out Jesus at the end of it, right? It just got mixed up. But if you translate Yahushua directly into English, what does it sound like? What word is that?
Joshua.
Right? So the name of Jesus is really actually better translated into English as Joshua. Right? And then Joshua is really Yahushua.
You better stop all that crying. Go sit down and play before you get in trouble.
Right? Yahushua is actually Joshua.
You come sit.
No.
She wants to sit with Nicole.
Or at least somebody with the name Nicole. So that's anybody in here.
Azzy.
All right, keep going.
And to Yahushua, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of the sprinkling that sprinkles better things than that of Abel.
Mm-hmm.
See that you refuse not him that speaks, for if they escaped not who refused him that spake on earth, much more shall not we escape, if we turn away from him that speaks from heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Whose voice then shook the earth, but now he has promised, saying, yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven.
He said, this time, everything gonna shake. It's just gonna be different, right? We coming up against something different. That's why we here, right? That's why we're here, try to figure out what we don't know, right? Trying to get familiar with what we have known and just build repetition. Just like anything else, it's practice. You can't stop sinning overnight. That's crazy, right? Right? It's crazy to stop sinning. It's impossible, ain't it? Ain't it?
Overnight? No, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's hard.
What you gotta do though?
You gotta cut yourself off from everything. You gotta
Just obey the book.
yeah. So
How you get your form right?
Repetition, practice.
It's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do anything. At work, we can't say where we work. You know what I'm saying? You get me fired. All right? But at work, how do we get to a point where it's like she does all the procedures, right? All the procedures. I mean, just at Ace. Every time somebody talking about some procedure, I'll be like, call Nicole, right? Because I don't know, right? So how do you get that good with understanding the procedures and knowing how things should work to the point where now you can develop new procedures? She's like, please don't make me talk.
Huh? You just can't learn them.
You have to learn it. You have to learn the process. It's experience.
Sit with me.
You can sit with her, but
Don't get in trouble.
When she
I'll
came
talk
home
to you,
when she came home at the job, right? Or came home. When she came to the job for the first time, our procedures were terrible, right? We didn't have any training, any procedures. You gotta have to dig in and figure it out, right? You dig in, you learn it, you bump your head, you do stuff wrong, you figure it out, and you're like, that doesn't make sense. You make suggestions, you figure it out. That's how it works. Same thing for us. A lot of us, we grew up Christianity. We trying to dig in and figure it out. Stuff didn't make sense. We start making suggestions. Pastor started telling us, no, boy. What the pastor you tell her, right? Oh, no, boy, see, you just don't understand. Right? You just don't understand. See, God. You know, they always get to doing that whisper yell. God, let me tell you. God. That's how you know they about to tell you a flat lie. Soon as they get to doing it, be like, I get it. No, I understand. I get it. It's all right. Don't even worry about it, pastor. I apologize. I ain't mean to come. I ain't mean to bother you this Sunday. Right? But that's what they give to us. Why? Because of tradition.
Yep.
Right? Same thing we have at our job. Right? People want to do the same thing at our job. Just because, guess what? That's how we've always done it. We've been doing it for years. How you, Nicole, gonna come in and tell us that you want to do it? That don't make sense. That's how everything is. Like a lot of people, we look at religion like it's just something totally different. Like, oh no, religion is just this different thing. Right? You can't talk about that. Or politics and all that, right? It's like, well, no, it's not. It's the same as literally everything else. It's a structure that people make mistakes in. People might have the best intentions. Right? People at your job have the best intentions. Guess what? People pay still get darn messed up. Your job, you be firing, your job fire people that, you know what I'm saying, their hair ain't right. Y'all got like strict rules about how to wear the hair.
They got rules and stuff like that. You can't dye your hair like stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not necessarily right. One day it's gonna change. You know what I'm saying? All these liberal kids be going down there. Somebody gonna come here. Some of them, what they call them? What they call them?
millennials.
Yeah, the millennial. What they call them though? Social justice warrior. They don't come in there and be like, no, I should be able to wear my hair however I want to.
I heard y'all like withdraw drug testing for marijuana and stuff though. Like MGM did.
He said, well,
Nah, for real. Like one of them hotels was like they no more screen for like marijuana.
things update, things change, right?
MSG doesn't, but the airport still makes you. So even though the company won't, if you have to work in the airport, you still have to go get the drug test
Airport
done
hating.
for it. Airport's crazy. They
Airport
took all
hating.
our products away and everything.
Yeah, airport hating. But no, I mean that's how things is. Like things change, structures change.
Social justice.
Religion is the same, right? You have people in here that's making a mess, right? That's all they do. They're making a mess. They don't understand the book. There's a whole lot of book to try to sit here and understand, right? And if you never had to like look at it and really just try to read it and understand it, but guess what? My dad and my mom, right? They Christians and they raised me in what I believe. So I'm gonna go with them. So guess what? When they tell me, you know, let me see if I can pick a popular verse.
Job 360.
Oh, we ain't even got John 3:16. When they tell me John 3:16, every context that they ever use John 3:16 in, guess what it always means? No matter what, God loves you. Right? No matter what, God loves you. Every time they use it, every time I hear, every time, that's what I hear. So guess what happened in John 3:16? Let's go. So when I read it, guess what's going to end up happening? Hurry up, come on, we got to turn down. Let's go. We got like, you know what I'm saying? 3 minutes left.
Okay, well, you haven't even got to Esther.
Yeah, what happened?
That is
Who faulted it?
Yours.
Who picked the book? TJ?
Not it.
no.
I didn't
Shanice?
pick the book. I picked the verse.
You picked the verse.
Okay, but I'm just trying to figure out what I'm under it.
It was you. You know you can't pick Hebrew. No, matter of fact, you can pick Hebrew. It was you, because you picked the last chapter of Hebrews.
She picked Esther.
You picked it.
I know, but it was the last chapter of Hebrews, and that's a chapter there. Relax, boy.
What is he saying?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
This is John chapter 3 verse 16.
Now
Watch
you
this.
understand how I understood TJ, okay?
No, that's not.
No, TJ.
That's definitely not the same.
What?
You used to say, yes.
TJ
oh,
said all his
and
vowels,
no.
and that was it.
TJ, you used to talk like that.
Yeah,
Came a long way, boy. You know what I'm talking about?
We get you now.
You doing good now.
That's okay, son. I understood every word.
I'm talking about, you used to come in here talking about, I used to be like, I don't understand what's going on. Your daddy though, and he ain't lying. That would be like, go get him some pizza. Hey, look, what in the world? I'd be like, listen, I ain't even gonna get in the middle of that. That thing used to trip me. I used to be like, this boy, goodness gracious. My niece, y'all met Mackenzie? Goodness gracious. Like, he and Mackenzie, that was the worst little baby talking I ever heard in my darn life. And they wasn't babies. You know what I'm saying? But they talk like, what in the world did you just say to me? I can't understand you. My boy bad too, though. This is John chapter 3, verse 16. Don't you ever say nothing about it.
For God so loved the world
He said, for God so loved the world.
that he gave his only begotten son. That whosoever.
That he gave, hold on. You reading too fast. You gotta let it marinate. You know what I'm talking about? He said, God so loved the world. That he gave what?
His only begotten
That
son.
was the only son he had that he gave. Watch this.
That whosoever believes in him.
And if you believe, what?
Should not perish, but have everlasting life.
I got that. When we read that, after our context of just like hearing it all our life, God loves everybody. That's exactly what we get. It sounds like God loves the world so much that he gave his son. But is that really what it's saying? No. Give me John chapter 3:16, verse 14. Let's talk about the part that they never read. This is John chapter 3. 2 verses before, that's all we're doing. That's how this whole book is, ain't it? Book will line you up if you actually read it, don't it? You get that one verse, you can take any popular Christian verse. Any one. And all we gotta do, give me a couple verses before, a couple verses after, I'll line your butt up. Straighten everything out. Give me 2 minutes. We straighten the whole thing out. I don't care what denomination, you Baptist, Pentecostal, darn Seventh-day Adventist. I don't care what it is. Goodness gracious. I mean, you can't even. That's all right. That's all right. You leave them alone. I just got done talking about everybody's kids, so you know they about to get you. He said he want to play on the phone. Y'all leave him alone.
That's exactly.
Y'all leave him alone. It's John chapter 3, verse, what we want? It's John chapter 3, verse 14. It's getting hot in here. It's John chapter 3, verse 14. What does the book say? This part they never read.
And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up.
We were in the wilderness, right? Same time period. Remember we just talking about the mountain and God talking. Moses gave his commandments. Same time period. We walking through the wilderness. What was happening in that wilderness, Daniel? We haven't got to this yet, so it's okay if you don't know.
Snakes or they was getting bit.
They getting bit by what? You had it?
Snakes.
By snakes. Why was they getting bit by snakes? What God get mad at? They didn't obey God, right? God put them darn snakes on. He said, okay, I got something for y'all. So God sent the snakes. Nobody else sent them, right? God sent the snakes. Okay, and then in response to God sending the snakes, what else did he do?
You don't want to play.
Oh, didn't he tell Moses that if he holds one up,
Zahar, be quiet.
if he holds,
Sorry.
if he holds it up, it'll heal them?
That's right. He gave him a brass serpent. Right? So he told Moses, go ahead and make a brass serpent. I'm sending the snakes, but I'm giving you a brass serpent. If you hold it up, anybody who looks at this brass serpent will be healed from the snake. So on top of him giving us the curse, he also gave us the way out of the curse. Right? It's a punishment. I'm going to kick your butt, but I'm going to give you a way to go recover from it. Right? Anybody who look at the brass serpent, then you'll be healed. This is what happened in the book. This is our history. Right? Then you look at this, and he's referring back to that history. Guess, if you read this and you don't know our history, what you get out of it? You ever seen the little Bibles? You know what I'm saying? Like the little ones that fit in the back of the pot. Convenient, right? You look at it, and what books they got in there?
Proverbs, Psalms, and New Testament.
They give you Proverbs and Psalm out of the Old Testament. They give you that. They ain't know you can't leave Proverbs and Psalm. That's crazy. Right? But they get rid of the whole Old Testament other than that. You ain't got a lick of history in there. So our Christian butts just reading out and like, goodness gracious, thank God. God, so he loved the world. He did. It says it right there. Right? He really did love it. And you just don't read it. It's like, oh, that make a whole lot of sense. It don't. It don't. Because the whole time he's telling you about what happened in the Old Testament and you never read it. Matter of fact, your pastor been telling you, nah, it's done away with. It doesn't matter. Yep. Why is he talking to me about it then? Let's hear about it.
And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so the Son of Man must be lifted up. That whosoever...
So he's saying, just like Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, that same way, who's the Son of Man?
Yahushua.
So if I don't understand how Moses lifted up this serpent in the wilderness, how am I understand what Moses supposed to, or what Yahushua is supposed to do for me? We just talked about the context of what happened, right? Snakes were sent against people. If you look at this brass serpent that Moses held up, you'll be healed. In that same way, people can look to Yahushua and be healed. Right? Did everybody get healed in the wilderness? In that same way, will everybody be healed here? You have to make a decision. Right? Watch this. Keep going.
And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up.
When it says even so, what does that mean?
Just like.
Was that like the word so? We kind of use the word so different than like how it was originally intended to be used. Like, what's an example of like us how we would use a so right now?
Shoot the basketball like so.
Right? That it's an example. Right? When you say so, it's an example. Right? But I might say, I love you so much. Right? What am I really saying?
A quantity, an amount.
Right? Where did that evolve from? Because so is supposed to be giving you some type of example.
Yeah.
Right? So you might start off like that saying started off with a hand gesture. I love you so much. I'm telling you, I love you like so. I love you to this degree that I'm showing you on my hand. Eventually, as language evolves, it's just assumed what we mean by so to a large degree. But when you're saying it's like so, right? Whenever you read the word so, it's trying to give you a comparison. Right. It's just that our language is developed in such a way where you no longer need to, it's assumed. That comparison is assumed, so I don't necessarily have to show you in every sense. So when we're reading here, he said, even so what?
Even so must the Son of Man be lifted up.
So just like Moses lifted up this brass serpent, even so the Son of Man has to be lifted up on this cross. Right? Watch, keep going.
For God so loved the world.
For God so? So is this saying God loved the world so much? Or is it saying God loved the world just like he loved the children of Israel in the wilderness? Of which, how many people made it into the promised land?
The generation from 20 years old and under. Well, 19 and under.
Anybody who came into the wilderness from Egypt didn't make it except for 2 people.
Oh, yeah.
2 people.
2 people out of that generation.
2 people.
Why I get so technical?
Huh? Well, any adults rather. Because you right what you said. Any adults that came in, the kids, they made it in, right? But any adults that came out of Egypt, only 2 made it in.
Out of millions.
right?
Like a couple-
And God so loved the world just like that. It changes it, right? It changes when you just got the bubble gum and oh, God loves the world so much. You lose what God is purposely putting snakes and a way out in front of us. Why? I'm driving you to one place, right? I'm driving. If I don't have no boundaries for you, no snakes to bite your butt when you go the wrong direction. Guess where you gonna go? Wherever you darn want to. You can go wherever direction you want. When you set up boundaries, when you set up restrictions, that puts a person. When you set up punishment, it puts a person in a certain direction. It's like, ooh, I don't want to go that way anymore. Let me look at this brass serpent. But even so, God so loved the world that what happened?
And he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish.
Anybody who look on him, you have everlasting life. Should we stop there? Oh, they get real tight after this. Watch it. They gonna stop there though. If they read verse 14, 15, and then 16, oh, they ain't reading no more after that. Let's keep going.
For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the
Hold
world
on.
through him might
They
be saved.
might.
Yeah. I've seen
They
that before.
might
They might
read
stop
17.
Stop right there, yeah.
Read that again.
For God,
Christian can handle a 17 now. Go ahead, watch
For
it.
God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
What they tell us all the time. Y'all preach God like he just mad at everybody. God ain't mad at. Y'all preach condemnation.
Yep.
Don't y'all know that John chapter 3 verse 17, brother? It say God didn't send Jesus to condemn the world. What did he send him for?
That the world might be saved. Through him might be saved.
The only reason he sent Jesus so the world might be saved. But y'all preaching condemnation. Okay, Pastor, let's keep reading.
He that believes on him is not condemned.
He said, if you believe on him, guess what? Guess what?
You're not condemned.
You not condemned. But,
But he that believes not is condemned already.
your butt was condemned before he even got here. Don't talk to me about preaching condemnation. The book just told you before the man even got here, you were condemned. You ain't have a chance. We already in a bad state. Who gonna tell us this? Who gonna tell us that on day one we started off in a bad state? We started off condemned. We started off being bit by snakes. Nobody gonna tell us. Everybody just want to tell us about how much God loves us, how much He don't care about anything that we do. That's what we have to do. All right, keep going. Watch this. We're not done yet.
But he that believes not is condemned already,
Okay.
because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the condemnation. that-
Okay, hold on. So now we've learned that the reason why Yahweh come, He didn't come to condemn people. However, you're condemned already, right? That's not why I came. You condemned already because you didn't believe on Him. However, if you do believe on Him, guess what? No condemnation. So He comes as the what?
It's the way out.
The way out, the solution, right? No, He didn't come to condemn you. You're already condemned. He came as the solution. Okay, great. Then, next it says what?
And this is the condemnation.
This is the condemnation. So now He's going to clarify what exactly does it mean to be condemned? What does it look like for a person to be condemned?
The light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil.
Now it gets talking about behaviors. All right? So light is coming to the world, but we love the darkness. Right? I mean, if I'm going to take something, do I want to do it in broad daylight? I'm going to go out there and go, rob me at like a little 7-Eleven or something. You know what I'm saying?
Why is that what you
Because 7-Eleven got the honey bun. You know what I'm saying? So you go, you know what I'm saying? So you go inside 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to come and give me the honey bun. You know what I'm saying? But I'm about to get a honey bun. Right? Do I want to do it with the camera right on me? No. I'm going to want to wait until that camera go, yeah, then I'm going to say, all right, and then take it. Right? I mean, let's just say, like, the light just stopped working in the back. That's where I want to go. Right? Because that's when you got to go, like, stuff that thing in your pants. You walking out, you walk out like this. Hey, all right, thanks, I appreciate it. I was never good at darn stealing. I remember I stole from 7-Eleven one time. My heart was racing. The rest of the darn day, I'm just there. I'm gonna catch me. Is that another? Cause you do that, and some people just ain't got it in them. You know what I'm talking about? Some people just ain't got it in me. I ain't got it. Well, I was just there. I ain't did some stuff now, but when it came to like stealing, I used to be like, oh my God. I steal some little stuff. Like, man, what you get? Damn, I got me like a couple sodas, some chips, this, that, another. What you get? Some gum. I got the gum. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, listen, some card.
Bro, I had a cousin.
You know what I'm saying?
I had a cousin that was good at it, bro.
Oh, boy.
Still, it was never my thing either. I used to be too
I
nervous.
couldn't do it.
It was too embarrassing to get caught. It's like, I can't do that.
That's crazy. Then I got to take off running and
I was
all
bad,
that stuff.
but I wasn't the thief. I was bad for sure, but I wasn't the thief.
Yeah, I'm saying, well, I wouldn't, I wouldn't do it a whole bunch. Still, but you do that. If you're going to steal, you're going to do it in the dark. Same way, the Most High God is trying to tell us, if the people, this is the condemnation. Light came into the world, right? Something that exposes, right? It came into the world. But some people didn't want to be exposed, right? Because what?
Because their deeds were evil.
Keep going.
For everyone that does evil hates the light,
Mhm.
neither comes to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved.
Mm-hmm.
But he that does truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are made in God.
And that's the rub. That breaks it down. That's everything we need to know, right? It's not just as simple as God loves everybody or God so loves the world. God loves when people obey, when people do what he says. Because what he says, it's not like an egotistical thing, how we would kind of think of it today. It's what he says, it's for our good. By me being righteous, what do I do for God? It's not like us, right? Like if I tell Zahar, boy, you better do what I say, I might get some benefit from it. Because chances are, I'm telling him to get my water. I'm going to tell him to go get my shoes when I don't feel like getting. Sometimes, if the remote is on the other side of the room, and I'm very comfortable on the couch, I'm definitely calling him from upstairs to come get that remote. Now, I could get up and I could get the remote. It's right there. But then again, this is a very comfortable spot. And I do not like what's on TV right now. So I don't know how much longer do I want to enjoy this comfort with not enjoying the TV. You know what I'm saying? Zahar, get your butt down here and get the, you know what I mean? Get the remote. That benefits me.
There's a reason I had kids.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's book. Oh, y'all ain't read that in the book? Where is that?
Timothy?
Nah, this is Galatians. Give me Galatians chapter 3. Oh, that's book. This book. What we doing is book now. Galatians. Give me Galatians chapter 3. Give me verse. I want Galatians chapter 3. Give me verse 7. Let's just see what it says. Right? So that benefits me if like I tell Zahar to do certain things. Is there anything that we can do to benefit God? Like, at what point do we make God better? Like, oh, like you more God because I did this, right? It doesn't work that way. So everything that we do is for our benefit, whether we notice it or not, right? Whether we know it, we might not realize it, but it's for our benefit. So he's telling us, like, this is the direction you should go. You gotta listen to me. This is the direction you should go. All right, there's people like at work that I do tell like stuff that's not for my benefit. Right? I'll be like, trust me, handle it this way. Right? Just because, like, I know what they're saying about you behind your back. I know, like, you know what I'm saying? It's that another, listen, trust me, you probably want to say this and you probably don't want to say that. And some people listen and some people don't. Right? Some people just like, no. Right? I got rep, not you, but no, I got reps that, like, have hated me the whole time. It's like they're just now, 4 years later, starting to realize, oh, you had my back the whole time. It's like, well, it's because honestly, these things are for your benefit, right? I'm telling you things and it feels difficult and it sucks and it's harder and it doesn't make sense. So imagine like this is just me. What's going on? You all right?
Yeah, get some water. I brought you up an extra bottle.
It's still my extra bottle, ain't it? Why don't you go out there and get your own darn bottle?
Yeah, he's having a hard time breathing right now.
I have a hard time, Pete. Go ahead. I feel like you just cheated me. Can you open it by yourself? Or are you not strong enough? Let me see. You can't open it by yourself. You need your mama's help. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
It's okay. You can also it.
You're mama's boy.
You got two.
You found it?
No.
It's like Galatians chapter 3. It's chapter 3.
No.
It's chapter 3, I'm trying to tell you.
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to look for the servant and the child. The servant and the child differeth not.
Servant.
Oh, that's right.
As a what is it?
It's the servant and the child differeth not, or something like that. It might not be child. The servant and the heir, maybe. Servant and the heir differeth not. It's probably heir. You don't see where you're talking about heir at all?
No.
It's definitely Galatians 3. I don't know why they always trying to make me feel like I don't know.
Oh, it's in Galatians 4 chapter.
Oh, it's 4. Goodness gracious.
Galatians
Well,
4 verse what?
Verse 1.
I said 2.
It's Galatians 4 chapter what?
Oh,
I mean verse what?
verse 1.
It's verse 1? All right, let's get verse 1. It's Galatians chapter 4 verse 1. Watch the book.
Now
It's
I
book.
Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child,
What's an heir?
the son to the...
It's the one with the birthright, right? That's you my heir, right? All right, so the heir as long as what?
The heir, as long as he is a child, differs nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all.
Come here, boy. I love you, boy. Get your butt over here. I want you to listen to the book. Come here. What, you scared? You nervous? Get your butt over here.
Go.
Come here. I want you to hear this now. You hear me? Come on. Get you on camera. Say it. Read it again for me now.
Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differs nothing from a servant.
The heir, as long as you a child, you differ in nothing from what?
A servant,
Don't daddy tell you that all the time?
though he be Lord of all.
That's how I go. Right? That's book. I didn't make that up.
I had to serve my mama the remote.
So now if I want a remote, I'm just saying if I want the remote and I got a servant, an heir in the house, why I'm gonna get up and go get the remote?
That's facts.
I don't even feel like it'd be righteous for me to get up. I feel like I committed a sin if I got that remote.
Oh my goodness.
I'm taking it too far?
Yeah.
I'm taking it too far? Okay. I'm taking it too far.
Relax.
Is somebody just coming out?
Sound like the missiles. Sound like
That's
the
garage.
Israelites.
All right. Where was we at before that?
We were talking about John 3:16, trying to sum it up on 3:7.
Are we done with John 3:16?
We are.
All right. Esther. Chapter 8.
Gosh.
Where we leave off last week? Chapter 8?
8 verse 4.
All right. We'll read a little bit of Esther. That's what happened. It's your fault. You picked Hebrews. No, you picked Hebrews. You picked chapter 12. You don't have to go nowhere. I'm trying to look at your phone.
Oh my goodness.
It's...
Yeah. Look. Sorry. Very nice. Thank you.
hot in here.
Is it halftime?
You begin.
Intermission?
You begin to Shannon the play-by-play.
I'm not proud of you today.
What? Not once.
I told her I was here.
She didn't ask.
She doesn't have a response. I'm respecting your.
What was her question?
She asked how was it.
She was how's it going?
Are you safe? Please just
Text back.
Please text back.
Please text back. I have the address. Should I come?
That 911 call when she was ordering a pizza, but secretly telling them she was in danger.
That's how I go.
That's all I
All right. It's Esther chapter 8. Turn that down for me a little bit, boys. It's Esther chapter 8. Give me verse what? 4?
4.
It's Esther chapter 8, verse 4. Remember we left off? Who can recap where we left off?
Esther. Well, that's gonna.
Oh.
They already had cast the lots, and they were the 12th one, right?
Yeah, but didn't Haman get hung?
Yeah, so
yeah,
they
that's right.
found out that, well,
Is it hung or hanged? Right? Haman got hanged. Is the proper way to say it, right? I think it's hanged.
he got what was coming to him for trying to get the king's woman.
Right?
Evil.
Because she was a what?
Let's see what Eli's doing. He has a
She was a Hebrew.
Can you help me turn it down?
Boy, I'm trying to figure out why you got your shoes on upstairs in my house. Eli, you come upstairs in my house, you take off your darn shoes. You hear me, boy?
You can go downstairs.
Turn it down.
Your elbow drop. Oh, would you look at that? That's some nice shoes, too. I ain't gonna say nothing about the gum that's at the bottom of one of them.
Gum.
That's
Major.
all.
Then they just gonna drop them on the floor.
Okay, so Haman got her.
Oh, yeah, so Esther, the golden scepter, she went into the king and he had to point it at her so she could stay.
You alright?
good, Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, she good.
I'm just saying, you good?
I'm good.
She out here, you know what I mean?
She good.
She rattling them off. You know what I'm saying? You sitting over there like, oh, okay. You taking notes on what she talking
No,
about.
I remember.
All right, I'm just talking about, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. She needs, you know what I'm saying? She been, you know what I'm saying, been off. You know what I'm saying? You came back, I mean, she coming back and showing you up. I don't know.
It's not a competition.
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
kinda
gonna teach
is.
nobody. It really can't be.
That's book 2. Where is that?
Yeah, it is.
It can't be.
On the race.
Yeah,
Lucky, yeah, you lucky my mind
Is it
ain't as good
Hebrews?
as it used to be. No, it ain't Hebrew. That's
Cause
like,
you're old,
it's
bro.
probably,
Yeah.
watch.
You even do all the old people
Your
dances.
mouth.
I'm just telling
You know what I'm saying? You got, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got, ain't the old people dance, what the kids do.
No.
What the kids do,
You
son?
start calling them the kids. It's the
You know what I'm saying? You gotta hit the folk, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Hit the folk.
Why you say it like
That's how you hit the folk.
he
You hit the folk just like that. I don't know why all y'all always, you know what I mean?
He said you.
Go downstairs. Let's let me see. It's Esther chapter 8. Give me verse 4.
Then the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther.
Uh-huh.
So Esther arose and stood before the king
That's right.
and said, "If it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews which are in all the king's provinces."
Right? So Haman, remember, Haman set up this plan to kill all of our people. Right? Kill them as soon as he could. They cast lots and it's like, okay, this is going to happen in the 12th month. And that's when it was chosen to happen. Mordecai found out about it and he was sad. Right? Because the decree went out to all the people. How you tell people like, oh, in 12 months we're going to kill all y'all? Right? It was cruel. Right? The king signed off of it. He said, yeah, let's make it happen. They don't care nothing about it, right? Let's sign off on it. We don't like these Hebrews anyway. They rebellious. All right? So signed off on it, cool. He didn't know that his wife was Hebrew. Right? Because remember, Mordecai told her, keep it hidden. Don't let nobody know you Hebrew. Right? So he thinking like, oh, just another black girl. You know what I'm saying? Different type of black girl or something. So we look at it. Then Mordecai looking like, you got to reverse this. Like, you got to talk to the king. You got to make this happen. Right? So she eventually goes. Haman gets killed. Then she goes to the king. The king holds out his golden scepter. That shows that she has favor with the king. Remember, if the king don't hold out his scepter, what happens?
You get killed.
That's it. Right? If the king in the court and you walk up, there was a law saying that if he don't hold out his, if he didn't request you and you just walk in and he don't hold out his scepter to you, that means they can kill you. Well, he held it out to Esther. So I was like, Esther, I know Esther walking in like, she held that thing out, she's like,
Double dutch.
whoa!
Double dutch it a little bit.
Goodness gracious, like, you know what I'm saying? Woo! You know, then she walked over to him, she was like, listen. He was like, what's your request? So she was like, listen, there's a decree out to kill all of my people. Can you reverse it? King thought, no problem. Right, watch this.
For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people?
Mhm.
Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred?
Mm-hmm.
Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen and to Mordecai the Jew, Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hung upon the gallows, because he laid his hand upon the Jews. Write ye also for the Jews as it likes you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring.
Mm-hmm.
For the writing which is written in the king's name, and sealed with the king's ring, may no man reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Then were the king's scribe called at that time in the 3rd month, that is the month of Sivan, on the 23rd day thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and to the deputies, and the rulers of the provinces which are from India to Ethiopia, in 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof.
So like everywhere that they wrote about it to say, hey, we're going to kill all the Hebrews, they wrote out again saying this reverse. Sealed it with the king. So now the reversal can't be reversed, right? So this is final. Right? Let's see. Keep going.
And unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing, according to their language.
Give me chapter 9, verse 1.
All right. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar,
Uh-huh.
on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and the decree drew near to put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them.
Mm-hmm.
The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of King Ahasuerus.
When they do that?
In the 12th month.
Okay, keep going.
to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people. And all the rulers of the provinces and the lieutenants and deputies and officers of the king helped the Jews, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces, for this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. And in Shushan the palace the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And Parshandatha and Dalphon and Aspatha and Portha and Adalia.
What verse is that?
7.
Jump on down to about 10. Maybe 11. 11 what I want?
On that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace were brought before the king. And the king said to Esther the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, and 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now what is your petition? And it shall be granted to you. Or what is your request further, and it shall be done? Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are at Shushan to do tomorrow also according unto this decree.
Right.
And
So
that Haman's 10 sons be hung upon the gallows.
So what was just described is, it was one day that was chosen by Haman, who was against our people, that he would get together with all the people, and whoever wanted to help kill us, they'd kill us, right? Then Esther got it reversed. So now anybody who sought to kill us, right? Anybody who was on paper that was saying, hey, I'm gonna sign up to kill the Hebrews, we had the right to go and fight with them, right? To kill them. So our people did that. We killed 500 of them in one day, and we killed all the Haman's people, just got rid of them, right? So then after that happened, the report came to the king. The king told Esther, all right, that happened. What else do you want? Esther was like, I'll tell you what. Let's do the same thing tomorrow. Esther was a bloodthirsty woman, wasn't she? She was like, let's run it back. Let's try to do it one more time. So then let's see what happens.
And the king commanded it so to be done, and the decree was given at Shushan, and they hung Haman's 10 sons. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day also of the month of Adar.
The 14th day of the month of Adar, right? Remember that. Watch this.
Slew 300 men in Shushan, but on the prey they laid not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces.
It says on the prey they laid not their hand. What does that mean?
The spoils.
On the spoils, right? When they're talking about like say I go to war and I win the war, and all the supplies and the wealth of this people that I won the war against is out there laying for me. That would be the prey, right? That would be the spoil, right? I would take the winnings from winning the war. We weren't allowed to take that, right? So we could fight, but we wasn't allowed to take their stuff. So we did it. We fought with them, killed them, but we didn't take their stuff, right? Keep going. That reminds us, though, when we go into the promised land, the Most High God told us similar things, right? He's like, go kill all of them, right? Kill every one of them, but do not touch their stuff, right? Leave their stuff right where it is. So that's where this kind of comes from.
But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood for their lives and had rest from their enemies and slew of their foes 70 and 5,000. But they laid not their hands on the prey. On the 13th day of the month Adar, on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
So that's where we get the day of Purim, right? That's where Purim, that's why we celebrate Purim, right? It commemorates a day that for us was a day of sadness, right? It was a day where all of our people was about to be killed by the people in Shushan, right? And all the other scattered territories. But then, because of Esther, we got it turned around. And once it got turned around, now we're in a position, okay, well, now we can defend ourselves. Remember, 2 decrees went out, and both of them are active, right? One decree went out saying, it's okay for y'all to go kill all the Hebrews. And that's still active. King couldn't reverse it. So he had to make a second decree saying, okay, Hebrews, it's okay for y'all to get right back at them. But now Mordecai, a Hebrew, is in power. Guess who else is in power? The queen. And guess who's behind the queen? The king. So now we got a little bit more supplies on our side. We're not just the poor people. Because remember, we outcasts. We was taken out of our lands, taken as slaves, switched between kingdoms. So we didn't have a whole lot. But now we got the backing of the king now. So the king couldn't reverse his ordinance to say, okay, these people can't kill you, right? I already told them they could. So it had to be a war. It was no way to just make it peace and go away. It had to be the war. So anybody who still wanted to fight, kept fighting, kill us, the king said, okay, well, you got a right to go fight and kill them too. And guess what? We got your back now. And after doing that, we won, right? We came out victorious. And because of that, now we set up a day of gladness, right? Let's describe what the day is. I think it described it right here. Pay attention, boy. This is what Purim is about.
But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day, and on the 15th day of the same they rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made a 14th day of the month Adar, a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day of sending portions one to another.
Right? So we feast, right? Eat, and we send portions one to another. That's why we give gifts. Right? We exchange things with one another. Keep going. Watch this.
And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both near and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar and the 15th day of the same yearly.
Right? 14th day and the 15th. So the days that we actually had to do our fighting was the 13th and the 14th. We made our celebration the 14th and the 15th. Keep going.
As the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, in the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day.
From sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day.
That they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor.
And gift to the poor, right? Remember that one year, might have been multiple years, we went out and we tried to help some people out. All right. I think that thing illegal now out here. I don't think you supposed to. Yeah, I think they make it where you can't do nothing now. I'm like, goodness gracious, these people sickos. How you mess with people like that and just feel okay with it? What's her name? What's our mayor name?
Mayor Goodman?
Oh yeah, this is his wife, right? This is Oscar Goodman's wife. She's a sicko too. He's a sicko too, but she's a sicko too. He's standing behind that type of stuff. But anyway, I ain't gonna get into it. What else we got?
And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and Mordecai had written unto them. Because Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and he cast Pur, that is, the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he had devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head.
All right. So that's the end of it. In the next chapter, we don't have to read it, but in the next chapter, it go on to kind of tell us how Esther and Mordecai kind of fared in their life. Mordecai got got some authority, got some additional authority, and was highly respected. And Esther continued to be king, continued to be respected as well. But that's where the day Purim come from. That's why when we celebrate it, it's actually coming up March. I'll get the dates. I think it's March something. Might be like March 2nd, March 1st, somewhere around there. I think it's early March.
When's your birthday, bro? Ain't that coming?
Nobody caring about his birthday. He's 30 something already. That ain't gonna count if you're 21.
My birthday count.
Oh, sorry, Phil.
Who's skydiving with me?
You.
Okay.
What's the weight limit?
Get down.
What,
Ain't got no weight limit.
It's a thing. I'm trying. Pretty sure I'm over it. There's a cap.
You really want to skydive?
I'm going skydiving. I just need one person to
Who
go
wants
with
to
me.
skydive?
There was a guy who came in our store and he was like, I did the wildest thing while I was here. I went skydiving and he's like, my 6-year-old dad did it as well. And I was like, oh, my friends are trying to go and I'm just not about that. He was like, you know what? Do it, because you only live once. And he walked out. I was like, what the heck?
If anybody is watching that is gonna be in Vegas next weekend,
Oh, I'm not going to be here
February
next weekend.
15th or February 16th,
Dang it.
please come out and skydive with me,
Phil, hey.
Bro Fillmore.
I'm not going to be here.
Oh, because you were gonna skydive if you were.
Yeah, I would totally would.
Ah, rats.
Dang it.
Goodness
Just didn't
gracious.
work out so hard.
Shanique wouldn't even get on the roller coaster. Where we go, baby? Not very far. You wouldn't even get on that roller
I don't
coaster.
like how it makes
Not
my
very far.
stomach feel.
Goodness gracious.
I don't like that thing either.
I gotta hold my breath when you go down or go up loops because
That
it
thing-
feels like your whole stomach.
That thing
is
is
like-
blessing
I
in the
hate
sky,
that.
though. What
I
not?
hate that feeling. That thing's worse.
It's terrible. Who pays to do that?
Yeah, like that thing crazy.
Y'all are
Scary
babies.
scary, but
I hate that feeling. I just don't like the feeling. Like that
No,
like
that's
it
if you
sucks.
check it up too. It's scary.
All right, whatever.
We're supposed to be going, you know what I'm saying, going again in May until my wife decides she wanted to get pregnant. You know, I'm talking about ruin everything, but you know, ain't nothing about business.
She decided ruin everything.
I had nothing to do with it.
Takes two to tango.
You know what I'm saying? I had nothing to do with it. You ever prepared a turkey for Thanksgiving?
It's not my orange.
Yep.
Can you end it?
Oh, all right, my fault. Any questions?
No,
Not about turkey or nothing?
nothing.
All right, let's pray out.